it was a draw in the end, but one we probably didn't deserve.
I think so. Really disappointing today. We started off really well down here. I think so frustrating. We started off well, got into good areas. Right, we're on it today. Then they go and get a player sent off, and you think, right, be even better. We'll kick on. And we seem to just go backwards again. It reminded us of Dungannon when they went down to 10 men in the last 20 minutes, and we didn't take advantage of it. It was really, really frustrating on our end because we had an extra one in there, and I thought the fullbacks could have got out quicker and got the ball, moved it up to Peter Campbell, Conor Kerrigan on the ball. We just didn't seem to do it. We seemed at a time where we're just getting the ball, hitting it long, playing into their game plan. You know, if you're Carrick, you're wanting to hit the long, win the first ball, and then win the second ball, and just causing a real ruckus in the game where nothing was happening, and we just fell into that trap, you know. And it was very disappointing for us, and we were frustrated at half time over it. And obviously Jack sending off brings it back to 10 each.
So it's just on that. Haven't seen it back. It's a bit potentially dubious whether it was or whether it wasn't. But when the referee sends one player off in a similar scenario, same part of the pitch, it's possibly inevitable that it might happen again, you know?
Yeah, well, it was right in front of it was nearly at the exact same spot, wasn't it? It was right in front of the two benches where he's under big pressure. You know, he gives the first one. I think the first one is a red card. I'd have to watch it back and see. I was close to it. He was higher, and Ribsy has his knee up, and it nearly hits him on the knee, but close to the stomach. And then he flicks his studs out at Ribsy as well. So, and in this day and age, I thought it was a red card. Now, I'm not just saying this because I couldn't see it. With Jack's one, there was 2 or 3 people in front of me, and I haven't watched it back yet. But again, you have to. I keep saying the words "box clever." You know, if that's happened before, in that scenario, and you're over at that end, you should really be making sure that you don't do that, because you're setting it up. Even if you win the ball, you're setting up for the referee and the linesman and the fourth official to send you off. So it's always a possibility if you do the similar sort of challenge. So basically, looking back on it for Jack, you shouldn't be doing that challenge, making sure you don't get sent off, you know.
Yeah, and then I suppose looking a bit further on after that second half, 2 teams back 10 each, sort of started over again. We didn't really start again in the second half. Carrick were very much more on the front foot than we were.
I find that hard. My analysis of it was that Carrick were as poor as us. I'm watching the game and I'm thinking both teams were poor. Without a shadow of a doubt, we didn't play well, but I looked at Carrick and I thought they were also poor. For me, the change in the game was young Curtis Forsyth, the Carrick's right back, drives forward with the ball, wins it, shows pace, shows determination, shows power, gets a 1-2 down the lane, drives into the box, gets a shot and gets a goal, and all of a sudden the whole stadium's lifted, Carrick's lifted, we're down in the dumps, you know, because we weren't playing well, they weren't playing well. But like you say, you need one person to change the game, and I thought that lad changed the game for them. And once they scored the goal, then they looked like a different team. We looked dejected, we look as if we can concede, we could have conceded maybe 2 or 3, they're on the up, we're on the down. And we spoke about it. There wasn't much changes left for us to do. Obviously, the squad's depleted at the minute. It's with loads of injuries, with suspensions, with boys away. We've lost 5 in the window. We haven't been able to replace them, unfortunately, with the quality that we wanted to replace them with. It hasn't worked out. So it's been a really, really tough window for us. It's been a really tough time, but I have to give him his dues. The gaffer decided to come on. He has the experience, he has the quality. He's 42 years of age, but he comes on there in 8 minutes. You know, he plays his part in every way possible. You know, he holds the ball up. He gets into good areas. He's talking to AP, the young striker, telling him where to go, telling him where to be. I'm gonna look at a different team, and when it falls to him in the box, he's the one who's calm and collected. Could he drive it into the net? Possibly, but there was somebody in front of him. What does he do? Roll it across for Danny Walsh to put it in to make sure we get the equaliser. That's the quality we want. That's the experience we want. That's the calmness we want in situations. And to be fair, nothing but credit to the gaffer. Him, in my opinion, gets us a point.
Yeah, definitely played very well when he came on. I suppose we're unfortunate that we have to do that in a sense. And as he said in recent weeks, there's not a whole pile out there of that type of quality. You know, he's 42 and he's still able to come on and impact the game. There's not many players else out there in the league that we can bring in.
No. Well, we have looked around, and the players we have looked at and the money they've been looking, it hasn't made good business sense for us. You know, it's the well has run dry, unfortunately, in Northern Ireland at the minute, and I don't know if that's to do with the full-time football and the part-time football. It's the same down south. We speak to guys down south in certain clubs and around the league, and they're saying the same. There's not much movement down there. The good players are signed up to good contracts. There's even championship players and League One players now on pro contracts, which never happened in the past. When we were here, you were always able to maybe take one or two from an amateur contract and bring them in, and hopefully they do well for you. Even that's getting difficult because clubs are saying them on a pro, and they all of a sudden they might be on a 2-year deal, and you have to buy them, and maybe they're not quite ready for the Premiership level, and it's difficult. It's really difficult. And the one thing we didn't want to do was panic buy and just go out and grab somebody for the sake of it because we didn't have bodies. No, we didn't want to do that, especially if it wasn't the right fit for the club and the money wasn't right. And it's been a real difficult time for Gary and the backroom staff just to try and get the right ones in. Unfortunately, you look at some of the youngsters who left there. You look at Josh Doyle, who wanted to go back and play more game time. And it's ironic that when he leaves, we needed him more than ever. So Josh probably would have played every game, you know. And it's the same.
You can't really accommodate that.
Of course,
that,
hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But we can't do that. If we all had a crystal ball, we'd all be millionaires and we'd be in different places than we are now. But again, it's probably the same with Conor Skinnell. He wanted to move on and wanted to go on trials, and then he would have been playing here today, and he's been doing really well as a youngster. So we've lost a couple of youngsters. We lost Micheál Glenn, who was flying for us, you know, and that was unfortunate again. And it's one of them things, and it's just been a real tough window. And sometimes in life you go through these times, and it is really difficult for us at the minute. But all we can do is knuckle down, stick together, get through this patch, and drive on.
That's it. So looking forward then to next week. You say there, mentioned where we are down to the bare bones, but we'll go again next week. It's a cup match. It's a welcome break from the league a little bit. Welders are flying high in the championship. Gary always says it'll not be an easy game.
No, without a shadow of a doubt. It's a real banana skin. And the Welders get nothing but credit. They had a very, very slow start to the season. The change manager, Paul Key, came in. He looks from the outside, and what I'm watching on the inside, looks as if he's did a fantastic job. He's changed things about internally within the club. He's brought in new players, new staff. He's got Big Spike Ferguson back, who's flying after 18 months out and has had a horrible, horrible injury. He's buzzing and just delighted to be back playing football after being on the sidelines for so long. He's a major threat. He's given everybody a lift around the club, and they are going to be a real, real threat against us on Saturday. And we can't afford to have 7 or 8 players on the game next Saturday. We need 11 plus the 3 or 4 maybe comes on, and hopefully we get more bodies back next Saturday to help us along the lanes. I think Rogers is coming back. He was away, he was unavailable, and possibly we're hoping to have a look at Skinner. We're hoping to have a look at Sean Ward. It was great to see Mark O'Connor back today after a long injury. We're not too sure about Conor McCluskey. It may be a week too soon for him. You know, AP came off as AP. He was in bed from Wednesday with a flu, and that's the first he come up out of his bed to play for us today. So you have to give him credit. Obviously, he was not himself, but again, the young boys had a flu for 3 days, so I give him credit for just getting out of bed and coming and helping us out today.
And then on AP, finishing it positive, I believe he's signed a new contract as well.
Yeah, AP's agreed to a new 3-year deal, so we're delighted. He's a great kid coming through at the club, wants to do well, absolutely outstanding attitude, and everybody around the club should be delighted to have him. Listen, he's probably playing a wee bit more football, men's football, than possibly seen at the minute because we need him more, but without a shadow of a doubt, he's a player for now and a player for the future, no shadow of a doubt. And another we mentioned for young Jamie Dornan. Jamie came in today, came on the last few weeks. He came on and I thought he made a difference. He was positive, he got on the ball, he did really well. We see the big potential in Jamie Dornan. He's young at the minute. He's a lot to learn in his game, but he's got so much potential, and hopefully he gets more game time as the season rolls on and he can start to learn as well.